First, you need to establish the stage of your melanoma. And the stage stands for the T, the N, and the M. The T is for the tumor depth. It can be T1, T2, T3, T4. And the A and B, it stands for no ulceration for A, and yes, ulceration or ulceration is present for B. So you could have a T2A melanoma, that's a melanoma without ulceration. A T2B melanoma, for example, is a melanoma with ulceration. The N stands for the lymph nodes. So any melanoma that is more than 0.8 millimeter, it requires wide local excision and sentinel lymph node biopsy. So the sentinel lymph node biopsy will tell us if there are lymph nodes involved. And then we give them the N, N1, N2, N3, and so forth. The M stands for metastatic disease, and that we figure it out by doing a PET-CT scan, initial staging PET-CT scan for melanoma. So if there is no evidence of metastatic disease, we call it M0. If there is no evidence of lymph node involvement, we call it N0. And let's say, for example, the depth is 4 millimeter with ulceration, that is T4B. So T4B, N0, M0, that makes it stage 2C melanoma. Then you would like to know what is the prognosis of stage 2C melanoma. Well, you come to this article. It's called Melanoma Staging Evidence-Based Changes in the American Joint Committee. I think it's the AJCC 8 edition. You click on it. You go down and you go to the figures. And the figures, we're gonna go directly to the stages. Right there. So let's say we've got a melanoma that is stage 2C. The 5-year overall survival is 82%. The 10-year overall survival is 75%. That means 25 out of 100 people will die from stage 4 melanoma in the future. And these people, they had initially stage 2C melanoma, but they developed recurrence and metastatic disease in the future, and unfortunately they die from the melanoma. So we've got here the prognosis for stage 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. Let's look at 2A. In 10 years, we've got 88%. That means 12% of the people with stage 2A melanoma will eventually develop metastatic disease, and unfortunately they will die as a result. Look at stage 1A. You know, that's a very thin melanoma. It's the 10-year overall survival is 98%. It's excellent. Only 2 people may develop stage 4 as a result of a very, very thin melanoma, such as 1A melanoma. Let's say the melanoma made it to the lymph node. So we've got N disease. N stands for lymph node. Well, whenever you have lymph node involvement, we're talking about stage 3 melanoma. Stage 3 melanoma is the melanoma that goes to the lymph node, right? So we've got stage 3A, 3B, 3C, and 3D. And these are the figures here. The figure here represent the overall survival, 5-year and 10-year overall survival. Stage 3A being the best, stage 3D being the worst. So stage 3D, look at the 5-year overall survival, 32% only survive for 5 years. The remaining, they will die as a result of developing stage 4 disease. The 10-year overall survival for stage 3D, only 24%. So most of the people, they will die as a result of stage 4. Stage 3A, though, it has a better prognosis, of course, than the stage 3B, 3C, and 3D melanoma. So, I mean, it can give you an idea about the seriousness of your melanoma, about the prognosis. It can push you also to consider adjuvant treatment. Unfortunately, we have good adjuvant treatment, whether it's immunotherapy, drugs like Keytruda for 1 year, Opdivo for 1 year, and also for people whose melanoma harbors the BRAF V600E or K mutation, they can take also targeted therapy. all these medications, whether it's a targeted therapy or immunotherapy, decrease the risk of recurrence or death by 50%.